Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sneakers Corner here again with our good friend Murad. And Murad has prepared for us a very interesting topic, which is on the idea the Abbasids were from Central Asia. And this is a second video in a short series. The last one that he did, he focused on the Umayyads being from Central Asia. So this is part of a bigger jigsaw, if you like, and hopefully will fill in a lot of gaps in our knowledge. So Murad, welcome to the show, and please introduce your topic.
Well, thank you for having me once again. I want to ask you first thing, who do you think is on the left side of the screen? Do you think this is from an Asian emperor?
It strikes me as almost like a Buddhist statue, so I'd be inclined to say somewhere in India or China or somewhere in those neck of the woods, I would have thought.
Yes. As we go through the presentation, we will see whose statue is this. And if I start right away, we have to start with some facts regarding the Abbasids. First thing is, there is no eyewitness account which connects the Abbasids with modern Saudi Arabia. There is no account saying something like this from the time of the Abbasids. Yes, you have a few accounts about them, but it places Mecca in Iraq, as we discussed before, between the city of Ur and Qar in Iraq, Mesopotamia. The second thing is, there is no archaeological or numismatic finds to confirm their origin from Arabia. So this is also an important fact.
Wow, yeah.
There are, however, multiple counter-evidence confirming they were from Central Asia, and before I move, I want to know your opinion about this.
Well, this is not exactly a complete surprise, but it's still incredibly shocking, really, when we think about the idea of Islam being started by non-Arabs. So the Umayyads were non-Arabs, and here we have another group of non-Arabs. And yes, Islam is constantly presented as an Arab religion, but it doesn't seem to be. So that's my main reaction to it, really.
Maybe Arabs, it meant something different that was lost with time. Maybe it was like when you say, I am an American patriot. It doesn't mean a language, but it means like certain beliefs or something. So this maybe was the case. Now, it's important to see how were these people depicted throughout the years. This is a depiction of the Abbasids that is a little late, but as you can see, the facial features and how they dress and how they blow this horn. And here you have, this is an actual, I'm not sure if this is a plate or something, and you have the face of someone, maybe he's an Abbasid caliph. What do you think of these features?
Yeah, I'm just taking in the detail. Well, the image on the left, it kind of is reminiscent of Genghis Khan rather than something that would be obviously Arabic. I'm very surprised by what appears to be a lot of donkeys in the picture, or maybe it's they're just a breed of horse that looks very like donkeys there. But yeah, it is quite surprising. That's strange.
Yes, you have in the Chinese Chronicle. The Chinese Chronicle, it says that the Arabs, or maybe the people of Iraq, it was written in the 9th century, they mixed their horses with dragons, and that's why their horses were very fast and stuff. Maybe this is a myth, but it gives you an idea that they had a different breed of horses that were very fast and stuff. So maybe this is the depiction. What do you think?
Yeah, it could be that. I know the Arabian horse nowadays has got a very elegant features, and they're often involved in presentations, where horses do kind of fancy footwork and so on. But I don't know if that's the same breed. It's probably not. It seems like a different breed. And what kind of comes out is it's actually a very short horse, so I imagine that it runs with a very short stride there, you know, so very low to the ground and nippy. Presumably. The picture to the right now, that's a depiction of an Abbasid caliph, I presume, is it?
It might be, but I'm not sure. So people who put it, they also don't know. But at these times, you would draw the caliph, not normal people.
I'm kind of curious. The thing that stands out for me is on the hand. It looks like a stigmata on the hand, almost like of the crucifixion. I know it's probably not meant to be that, but it's
This one?
yeah, bit weird. Maybe it's a mistake.
Well, everything about these pictures is weird. It's not very Islamic. This is not what you think about Muslims. And when you look at the left, you can see this face here. This is not an Arabic face. And you see right here this flag, La ilaha illallah, and the same here, La ilaha illallah. Same here, all these flags. Now you have also this is an Abbasid caliph. Not sure who he is. This doesn't have a name, but you can see the features. This is like Turk, Afghan features.
Yeah. Any idea what year that image in the center is from?
This might be medieval times,
Okay.
not from the Abbasid times.
Yeah.
The one on the right also comes from the time of the Abbasids. So this is important.
Okay.
So as you can see, of course, the features are not Arabic, they're Asian.
Yeah. Interesting.
Now, when we go deep, we have to look at the Sunnah, where it came from. It seems that it came from a place called Transoceania. This is a place which is further east, and we will look on the map where it is.
Before you go any further, can you just explain the term sunnah to our audience? What exactly do you mean? Yeah.
The Sunnah will be the sayings of Muhammad and what he did. So what he said and what he did, he is supposed to be the best conduct, and you follow him. So they write the traditions, what he said.
So surprisingly, you're saying the sayings and doings of Muhammad didn't come from Arabia, where you'd expect it to have come from, but actually somewhere thousands of miles away.
Yes, and this is not an opinion. We will read now the names, and you will see that it's clear. This is not my opinion. This is simple fact. So now I will put the names, and I will read the name and the book, and you just read where they came from.
Yeah.
So the first one you have is Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari, who is of Sahih al-Bukhari. This is his book. Where is he from?
Uzbekistan. Wow. Yeah.
Then you have Muslim ibn Hajjaj al-Nisapuri, the one who wrote Sahih Muslim. Where is he from?
Iran.
Yes, and Muhammad ibn Majah al-Qazwini, who wrote Sunan ibn Majah, he is from
Iran. Wow.
Sulaiman ibn al-Ash'ath, who wrote Sunan Abi Dawood, is from Iran.
Yeah.
Muhammad ibn Isa al-Salmi al-Tirmidhi, the one of Sunan al-Tirmidhi. Can you see where he is from?
Uzbekistan. Wow. Couldn't be further away from...
Yes. And you have Ahmad ibn Shu'aib al-Nasa'i of Sunan al-Nasa'i. He's from Turkmenistan.
So, you know, if we just kind of draw some conclusions here, we're talking about writings that are 300 years or thereabouts after the so-called events, and they are written thousands of miles away, so that people writing them wouldn't have a clue of the locations that they're talking about, the local culture, the local traditions, and they're 3 centuries apart from it to make it even more distant, you know? That's,
Yes, you see, when you talk about an oral tradition, oral traditions survive only in a place where you do not move. So when you
yes.
go to Peru and they tell you that the gods, ancient gods who were giants, built these structures here,
Yeah.
then you might listen, even if you don't want to believe it. But these people, they were here for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Now, how did oral tradition go all the way to Transoceania, around the Caspian Sea? This is a killer question, actually.
Yeah. I don't think that's possible. It's really powerful stuff, this.
Yeah, I want to look at the name here, Muhammad ibn al-Hajjaj al-Nisapuri.
Yeah.
There was a place in Iran called Nishapur or Nisapur. So just his name is telling you I am from here.
Yeah.
The one below, Muhammad ibn Majah al-Qazwini. You know what is Qazwin?
No.
Caspian. This
Caspian.
is
Oh,
the
wow.
Arabic word for Caspian. So
Wow.
his name is Muhammad ibn Majah the Caspian.
Wow.
As you can see, this is the place where the Sunnah comes from.
Yeah.
No one can argue with that, even any Muslim today.
So, just to be absolutely clear, in case our audience has missed this, the Sunnah is entirely Central Asian.
Exactly. This is the
Wow.
most important books. The
Yeah.
names of the people, Central Asia, they were from Central Asia. And even Al-Tabari, who was the first one to have a complete book of tafsir of the Quran, is from Tabaristan, which
Yeah.
as you saw, it was Hirkania and became Tabaristan.
And
So
that's next to the Caspian Sea as well, isn't it?
yes, it's on the shores of the Caspian Sea.
Yeah.
Actually, if you wanna go and become very crazy and believe Sibius that he placed Muhammad around this part, then the Sunnah will be authentic because we are close.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the only way it could actually be authentic, is if he is from that area.
Yes, if you wanna be authentic, you have to place Muhammad here, not the other way around. You
Yeah.
cannot get around this.
Yeah. It seems to be, if there is any truth to this, all these stories, the only way this could be possible, and this is offering a what you call it, an olive branch here, is that they took stories local to the area about someone or other, and they superimposed it on a historical figure called Muhammad, who had nothing to do with any of this. Would that be
Yes,
fair?
this is the most easy thing to think. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now to move on, we have the hadith of the black flags. This is very important. I simply got this from Wikipedia. You can see the first hadith is in Musnad Ahmad. It says, there will emerge from Khurasan black banners which nothing will repel until they are set up in Jerusalem. So you can see these black banners, uh, they are a hint at the Abbasids. And it's
Yeah.
clear that it comes from Khurasan. We will see through the presentation where is Khurasan. If you can read the next hadith.
Yeah. So when the black flags come from Khorasan, go to them even if you have to crawl on snow, for among them is the Khalifa of Allah, the Mahdi.
So you see the Khalifa of Allah, which is Al-Mahdi, or Al-Mahdi, I think, is
Like
just
Messiah?
an Arabic name for the Messiah, yes?
Yeah.
He will be from this part, from Khurasan.
Yeah.
And the 3 hadith which come later, they also say Khurasan, from the east with black flags, and
Yeah.
here in Sunan ibn Majah, then the black banners will come from the east, and it has Khalif of Allah al-Mahdi also.
Yeah.
So you see, this is the same idea coming from here. What do you
And
think so far?
it is very interesting. And are they depicting this to a particular time frame? Is this meant to have been during the time of Muhammad? Obviously, I think it's retrospective, but when are they dating these themselves? Is there any indication of when they're talking about?
I think this is like the apocalypse. It's like the time of the last day and stuff. This is the action before everyone would rise
Oh,
from the
okay.
dead.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is the part. This is just a rehash of the Messiah idea, but the Christian believe that Jesus will come and the rapture and this stuff. But in
Yeah,
the Islamic version, they believe that Al Mahdi will come. He will restore peace, but in a little bloody way, swords and blood and stuff.
yeah. And I presume that the reason why they have it them coming from the east is simply because by the time they wrote these down, that was actually the way things had happened. That the leaders had come from the east. So that's logical then for them to say that any future leaders will also come from there.
Yes, this is just the way because they redacted it to that time.
Yeah.
Now I will present a weird argument, which is where were the Abbasids from? We see now that they cannot be from Arabia, no proof whatsoever. Their depictions don't say that they are from there, their hadith don't say that. So I will say, and I got this from uh, people who are studying this in Arabic, they're a little bit crazy, but I like their ideas. They could be from Turan. Turan is a place where Iran knew before. We will look at it. They are from a race called Turanid race, the Turan race, which has uh, the Turks and they have the Afghan and they have these, even the Heftalites.
Yeah.
Turan people came from the Faraghina and the Ushrusiana. They came exclusively from Transoceania. We will look at these because these are two important players, the Faraghina and the Ushrusiana. This is known today, this place, as Great Khorasan. Remember Khorasan we saw in the Hadith now.
Yeah.
These two military regiments were the backbone of the Abbasids in their rule and military campaigns. These two, Faraghina
Yeah.
and these other ones, Shusaniya.
Yeah.
Actually, this is in the Islamic tradition. This is not new stuff. They were
Yeah.
from the Transoceania, which had Nestorians, Jews, Zoroastrians, Buddhists, and Manichaeans. So they have all the players that we are always discussing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. So all the building blocks are there in situ, if you like.
Yes. Now, Farghina, we have to look at it. The Farghina in the regular army of the Abbasid Caliphate, which was active during the 9th century, consisting of troops who originated from the Farghina in Transoceania. The Faraghina participated in several military campaigns and played a significant role in the politics of the central government, especially in the anarchy at Samarra. This is a very important event, anarchy at Samarra, and I think Bala knows more about this than I do. I'm still looking at it, but it's an event that maybe changed a lot of Islamic history. Now, if you can read this part, then we will go to the other group.
Okay. So the Faragena were only one of several new regiments in Al Mutasim's army, serving alongside others such as the Turks, Ushrashania, Maragiba. Of the
Mariba.
non-Turkish units, they appear to have been among the largest and are mentioned relatively frequently in the sources. Al-Yaqubi referred to at least some of the Faragini as Ajam, a term which has been variously interpreted to mean that they may have been non-Muslims, non-Arabic speaking, or uncivilized. In any case, it seems that they were considered as outsiders by the mainstream elements of Muslim society. Oh,
Yes. You see, here Al-Yaqubi, this is one of the Islamic scholars, he refers to them as Ajam. And Ajam we know today to mean uh, non-Muslims and non-Arabs.
It's kind of like a
And yes,
foreigner,
sometimes,
essentially.
yes, but you see this word, I have other sources which say that Al-Ajam it means Persian. So it's important to see why they were called this way. But now let's just go to the other group, which is Ashwania. I will read this part. They were originally the regular Abbasid army of the Abbasid Caliphate, formed in the 9th century AD. The unit consisted of soldiers who were originally from Ashrusana in Transoxiana. The Ashurusiana initially served under the prominent general Al-Afshin, but they remained active after his downfall and are frequently mentioned during the period known as the Anarchy of Samarra. So again, the Anarchy of Samarra. And I want to ask you, what were these people speaking? If they were speaking a certain language from this part of the world, then the Abbasids, they must have known this language. What do you think?
Well, I'll have a shot. I would imagine either Persian or Aramaic, maybe. Um, Not sure beyond that. I can't think. Parthian. I don't know if Parthian. No, Parthian wouldn't
Not
have
sure.
existed.
I'm not sure what language, but they understood each other very smoothly because they are part of the Abbasid reign. So what were they speaking? What I'm just saying is they knew each other. They
Yeah,
were very close in geography also.
yeah. I would imagine that Aramaic would make sense in terms of a common language across this whole area because it's on the Silk Route, and uh, Aramaic facilitated trade along that whole Silk Route. So it was the international language for that area. So I'd imagine that would probably be the best guess, but maybe Persian would come a close second, maybe. But anyway, that's just my opinion, and I'm sure others will contradict me on that one.
I don't think it's Aramaic because if these people are the ones who hijacked the Quran later, they definitely didn't understand Aramaic because Al-Tabari didn't understand it and no one from the Muslim community understood it.
That makes sense,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so these were the people who didn't know Aramaic. What were they speaking? I don't know, but I do know that they all understood each other with a language different than Aramaic. Now, as you remember, we said that Abbasids, they were from Turan. Let's look at the historical Turan. This is a map that's a little new, but it has the historical Turan. You can see how large this part
Wow,
is.
it's a huge area.
This had all the people that we are talking about. It had Turks, it had Transoxiana inside it, it had Khorasan, and this is the Caspian Sea.
All right, I was just going to ask you, that's just to the left of it is the Caspian Sea.
Yes, this is
Oh
the
my
Caspian
God.
Sea.
That really gives me a sense of how large this area was because Caspian Sea is pretty huge.
Yes, this is the large area. It had all these nomadic people, and it had the Hephthalites, and these were the people who were always conquering Iran and making deals with it and stuff.
Yeah.
Tom Holland is the one who goes very deep into this stuff. I'm not very good at it, but this part always was a threat because they were always hitting the Sassanid Empire and the Persians.
Yeah. I'd imagine that for the Persians, it must have been a really tricky situation to have the Byzantines on the western side attacking them, then having this group on the other side. So they had to play a very careful game between the two sides, and I can imagine they probably wanted very much not to have the Byzantines attacking them so that they could focus their energies into keeping out I suppose would you call them the Turanstanis, or how would you refer to the people? The Turans?
Turanid
Turanids,
Greeks.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, when Heraclius had his crushing defeat, his
Yeah.
last defeat against the Persians, it was not because he was a genius only. It was because the Persians were being hit also from these nomadic people on the other side. This is important to note
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
because the Persians, they were um,
Fighting on two fronts.
yes, and they were multiple houses, so they got fractured into other houses. They were fighting each other. Heraclius, he was not fighting against his own people at this point, but they were fighting each other.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can see this is an 8th century map of Transoceania. Now let's look at the places. First, you have Khawarizm. You have an important person called Al-Khwarizmi, and this is a Persian who had Muslim literature and one of the very important early Muslim uh, historians, I think. Now you have Nishapur. Remember when we saw Muslim now, who
Yeah,
is of
yeah.
Sahih Muslim?
Yeah.
He's from Nishapur. You have Maru, which is Merv of Abdul Malik.
Yeah.
You have Amul. Remember Amul, Amuya,
Yeah.
Amardians, Mardian people.
Origin of the Umayyads name.
Yes. This is the suggested origin, of course. We are
Yeah. Yeah.
still new with the theory.
Yeah.
Now read this. What do you think of this word?
Zam. It reminds me of the Zamzam.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
And you see it's on the Oxus River.
Yeah.
There is water there.
Yeah.
So this is intriguing. I don't know if this is the original Zamzam.
Yeah. So is there any... Are you aware of anything to do with Zam? Or is it just the fact that it has the same sense of Zamzam?
Just word, but I can see that it is on the Oxus River and there is water there. If Zamzam is flowing
Yeah.
water, then there is water there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very good.
Here is Balkh, as you can remember.
Yeah, and this is where we find the Kaabas, buildings that look like the Kaaba.
Yes, you have Kaaba of Zaradasht, which is Kaaba of Zoroaster. This one, as you can see the mouse here, this is Tirmidh of Tirmidhi. It's one of the Sunnah also, as we saw.
Yeah.
Now, what is this? What do you think of this?
Oh yeah, this is Alexander the Great, Iron Gate. Yeah.
This is the Iron Gate of Alexander, and you see it's in the same places we are pointing now.
Yeah, wow.
And I also found that there is a source which is Apocalypse of Pseudo Methodius mentions this also.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, we can go and see this one. What do you think of this one?
Well, that's Al-Bukhari's location, presume.
Yes. Bukhara. Bukhari is from Bukhara. Here is this.
Yeah,
place.
yeah. Wow. God, that's a lot of clusters all in the one area.
Yes.
Samarkand.
And this is Samarkand. Does it remind you of something?
I can't remember what the connection is with Samarkand. You'll have to tell me, but I know it's a very important location.
Yes, and you have a Quranic manuscript called Samarkand.
Yes.
Manuscript.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why is a Quranic manuscript all the way in Samarkand?
And this is one of the earliest that they have as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Very interesting, yeah. That's amazing.
This is Faraghina, the place of Faragina, where we saw now that they were joining the Abbasids and had an important role in the Samarra anarchy.
Yeah. Oh, God, it's like all of the places that you've shown are like super important.
And the last one you see is Khurasan. This is Khurasan itself, where the Mahdi will come from.
Yeah.
This is the Abbasid place, so you see. And here you can see this is called Hirat. It's close to Hira, the name.
Yeah, yeah. So the
Here
cave of
you have,
Hira could be
yes, here
connected
you
with
have
that.
Tirmidh. Tirmidh is close to Tirmizi. So Al-Tirmidhi comes from Tirmidh, this name.
Sorry, where's the pyramids that you're referring to? I can't see.
Here above Balkh. Here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And interestingly enough, it's right next to the Hindu Kush I see there on the map. So a lot of the similarities between Islam and Hinduism, as some people have pointed out, can be explained by the close proximity here.
Yes, it can only be explained by this close geographical place. And we will see in another video, where is Abdullah ibn Zubair from? Is he close to the Hindu Kush? This will be another video.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what we see now is that we have a lot of things that are related, and it's hard to cast aside these assumptions. What do you think?
I think you're making an incredibly strong case here, and I'm surprised few people have noticed this before.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, this is another map, and the Abbasid invasion. If we take this into consideration, what we have seen, this is the Turan place, as I showed you.
Yeah.
If we put an arrows, the Abbasid invasion will look like this. See?
Yeah.
Now, what do you think of this? Do you think this is more likely?
The only thing I wonder is the way the history depicts it is that Persia was second after Syria as the main focus of attack. How would you account for that part? You know,
I
it's you.
guess that yes, if we took Sibius' account, he boldly says that Persia fell first, and if you look at the Chronicle of Khuzestan, it says a similar idea.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I think Persia fell first, because if you look at Byzantium, you will see that it took a lot of time. Only the Ottomans are the one who totally crushed Byzantium. So Byzantium was very hard. And
Yeah.
it seems that it was an inside job, that the Persians fell like this.
So there were people inside the Persian families who wanted this to happen, and so they switched sides, as it were.
Yes,
That's what you're
because you
saying.
see the Sassanid family, it was a house of Sassan, and you
Yeah.
had other houses that were rallying, and they wanted to get back to the Parthian federation or something, and to be against Zoroastrianism. But this will be an independent video in the future, because I'm still looking at it.
You know, the religions in these areas here where they came from. Presume there was paganism, there was elements of Christianity, and also the other religions that you mentioned, Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, and so on. So it's quite a big mixture.
Yes, and this is the only part where you actually have statues. Who has statues? The Buddhists.
Yeah.
So if they were destroying statues and stuff, it is these statues.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is what happened.
Yeah. So potentially, if we were to kind of get a potential location for where the whole destroying the idols bit might have started, we might find archaeological evidence from that time to back up that story in this location, maybe.
It might be in Balkh.
Yeah.
What happened might be in Balkh, but I still don't have very strong evidence for that.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to know if anyone has done any archaeological digs around Balkh.
Yes, and of course we want to know what people think on the comment, because some people know good stuff
Yeah.
that we don't know. But as you see this scenario, you have uh, the Abbasids. They know the Umayyads. Now, if they are the Amardian people, they do know each other, and there is good reason that they hate each other.
Yeah.
So this is the place where you have conflict.
They brought their conflicts further west, but yeah.
It is important to note that these early uh, Sasanian Shahs, and also like the ancient Egyptians and ancient Babylon and stuff, they thought they were the descendants of gods. This is important. And there are people who theorize that this has to do with the Nephilim and post flood and stuff. Whatever the case, the people who were nomads from the other side who never saw this, they said, no, you are not the descendants of gods, you are slaves of gods. So
Yes.
this was
Just
like an anarchy in this part.
yeah. So actually, just in case people haven't seen the other video that we did on the Umayyads, the location of Ararat is in this area. So the idea of Noah's flood and so on is very pertinent to this location.
Yes, it's below the Caspian Sea at no, it's close to the Caspian Sea at Nachivan, and
Yeah.
it's called the place of descent. So people thought that Noah's Ark landed here. It's close to the mountains of Ararat, as we said.
Yeah.
It's mountains with an S, so it's not necessarily in Turkey.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Now,
very good.
if we move on, we have to look at a very important uh, part of the story, which is Merv.
Hmm.
You see, the historical Merv was one of the Turanid most important capitals in Great Khorasan. As you see, Merv was an important place. It had all religions, and it had a lot of Zoroastrians. The city was also mentioned in the Avesta. This is important, which is the Zoroastrian holy book.
Right.
The city itself was mentioned, and this would remind you of the Quran mentioning Mecca.
Yeah.
It had also lots of Khorasan Jews.
Yeah.
Now you see, there is a place in Baghdad called Madinat al-Salam, which means City of Peace. It was built during the Abbasid period. Now we can see that's in the same round structure of Merv. This is the structure of Merv, what is remaining of it now.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is Baghdad, and you can see
Wow. It's
this is
very
the,
much the same.
yes, the round here. It's same as Merv. So this is important. They took this and they planted it somewhere else.
Is there any connection with the names Khorasan and Quraysh or Quraysh? Is that just?
Khorasan and Quraysh.
It sounds similar, but obviously there may not be any etymological connection. But I'm just throwing it out there as it occurs to me.
I don't think so, and I think there is a big problem with Quraysh, because I'm trying to find any shred of evidence to it, and I don't think that this tribe existed ever.
Yeah.
You only have the Tayeye tribe. This is a true tribe,
Yeah.
and other tribes which were real and they have history. So maybe Quraysh just means federation
Yeah.
of certain tribes.
Yeah.
It was not a tribe in itself, maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's something that Ibn Hisham actually said in relation to the name and what it meant. So you may be right. That might be one of the truthful things he included in his Sirah.
Yes. Now you see here, you have this word Abbas Abad. It
Yeah.
comes from Abbas, which is the Abbasids.
Yeah.
There are several places still now called Abbas Abad. I got the whole list from Wikipedia. and we can see where they were. There is one in Azerbaijan, as you see, and look how much places have Abbasabad in Iran.
Yeah, a lot.
This is just part of the list.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Oh, really? God.
This is Iran, and
Yeah.
here, still Iran.
Oh my God. Yeah. So that's a big Abbasid location then.
Of course, these cities, they were named not in the same time. A lot of them were post-Abbasids.
Yeah.
But there is an important thing to say. Not one in Arabia.
Wow. Yeah.
We do not have any Abbasabad anywhere. We only have in Iran and in Azerbaijan and these places where they are close to each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think you're making a really strong case, man. Yeah. I don't think it can be disputed. You know, that's a real eye opener.
Yes. Now, what about post-Abbasids? You see the Abbasid Islam, and this is my idea, this might be wrong, but it seems that it was more anti-Trinity uh, and against Byzantium in the Middle East. It seems that way. After them came the Seljuks and then the Ottomans and the Turkish people. They were all from the same race. They were all transoceanic.
Right. Okay. So there is just a natural what's the word for it? Transition between these because they're all from the same area.
Yes,
Actually,
and it seems that they were angry from each other because they knew each other. That's why they were very bloody against each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you can say, why don't the Turkish people look like Central Asia? It is because when they got a lot of harem or harems and they married with them, they were European, these features got lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So now they are like Eurasian, European Asian. But the Turks, the original Turks, they looked Central Asian. They looked Asian.
Yeah. So they may have looked kind of similar to the Mongols.
Very similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
In fact, in another video in the future, this is a spoiler for the people. We will talk about Genghis Khan and Hulaku, and we will say that they were Muslims. We will look at that.
Fantastic.
This is the last thing I will say to the people. Try to debunk this narrative in the comments below. Because if people cannot debunk this, it means that this might be a strong case, and we will work from there, trying to reconstruct the narrative of Islam. What happened? You see?
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I would back you there. Just I encourage that. We're not here to just say we're right and you're wrong. We would rather you actually see the faults in our presentations so that we can actually get to the truth. So bring it on.
Yes, and if you have any questions now, this is the end of the presentation.
No, I don't actually. That's a lot of information now to absorb, but it's definitely you build a strong case for an Eastern origin to Islam, and definitely have to go away and rethink everything I assumed up to now.
Yes, and actually, when I was looking for the word Turan, I found that there is a Turkish player called Arda Turan. So it means that this word Turan, this is not a word that wasn't there. The Turks till now, they still use this name, Turan.
Yeah.
So
it's come down the line.
Yes. So as you see, if we look in the future at the Mongols and we look at Hulaku and Genghis Khan, if they were all Muslims trying to get back the original Islam, then you have a very strong case that these people, they were Asian, nomadic people, just like the Huns and the Hephthalites. They just continued on. That's the whole thing.
Fantastic. Well, Murad, this has been an amazing presentation, and I'm sure our audience is going to be really grateful for all the hard work that you put into this, and it definitely pushes the conversation forward and opens up new avenues of discovery. So thank you very much for all the hard work.
Thank you for having me, and let's hear all the comments.